sorry. He's holding the door for everybody here. All right, come on.
Thank you.
All right, don't drop the door. Hold it for everybody else through, okay?
Hello. Hey.
Oh, yeah.
Nu. Kijk. Oké. Wow, het is de gate China.
What do you mean? Do you not see that?
एलिगेटर हो र होइन
We're going to spot a good bit of our wildlife on the tour. And I never really said what we'll spot through here. The wildlife moves around every trip, so we're just going to cruise through and see what we can see. But you know what? Much of the tail there. But the tail of an alligator will always make up at least half its length, and a lot of times a decent portion over half. And they'll use those tails to propel themselves through the water. That's their main swimming tool. And you will typically, this green stuff you see in all over the pond, a lot of people confuse for algae or pond scum, which you can find on some ponds. But that is not what this is. This is called duckweed. And duckweed is one of the smallest flowering birds. They'll eat snakes, fish, eels, and I've seen those birds eat small baby alligators as well. Beautiful but deadly. And when they hunt, what they'll normally do is just stand very still right near the water or in shallow water above the float. That's usually the last meal a gator will go for because there's just not much meat on a turtle once you get to the shell, and it does take a good bit of effort to get through that shell. So it's just not much reward for the work. Not going to be a gator's favorite meal, but they certainly will eat them if they need to. Now, so about a foot every year for the first like 5 years they're alive. Much like a small child will grow quickly until they reach adulthood. That's about 5 years old for an alligator. Of course, they'll grow after those 5 years. They'll actually grow their whole life until they die. But Carolina, they only survive in tropical climates. Actually, the only crocodiles you'll find in the United States at all are at the southern tip of Florida. That's the American crocodile, which is pretty similar in size and weight to the American alligator. When you're talking about most species of bud owls, especially, I'll tell you more about these. They're actually giving a tour right up here at the corner though, so I'm going to be quiet as we go past the tour group, so I don't interrupt them too much. But I'll tell you more about these once we get up past this group in just a moment. I mentioned all four of these cabins are built in the 1850s, so quite old. And you notice going through here, 2 doors per cabin, is all the gray stringy stuff hanging off the trees everywhere called Spanish moss, which you might be familiar with. But what you may not know about Spanish moss is that it's not Spanish and it's not a moss. It's actually an epiphyte, or an air plant, which means it gets all the nutrients it needs to survive from the air, the sun, the rain, and the environment as a whole. Those are called cypress knees, and that's part of the root system of the tree that sticks above the ground. You have cypress knees, you have cypress trees. So I'm going to use cypress though with tupelo trees. Tupelos are the ones you see growing out there in the swamp. Those are all tupelos out there. The best way to tell the difference between the two is the foliage, which is quite different. Actually, the tupelos don't have much foliage on them at all right now. But the base of the trees, they do look very similar to the cypress though. And tupelo trees will produce tupelo honey, which is really good. If you like honey, that is. I also want to point out the plants along the left side bank. They have those purple wispy tops. There's more right up here. This is sweetgrass. If you've been downtown at all, you might have seen them craft and sell some of those sweetgrass baskets around downtown. That's what they use to make those out of. Pottery shards, parts of tools, stuff like that. And I'll tell you more about those here in a moment. I did want to point out another tree though, coming up here on the left. You can't miss it, just laying horizontally up here. This is a massive water hickory that came down last year during Hurricane Dorian. You'll notice it's actually still alive. You see the leaves growing up here towards the top of the tree. If you look down at the bottom of it, you'll see that most of the root system is still connected into the ground. So it's still alive and growing. It's just growing sideways now, which I think is kind of neat. And that hurricane did do a number on us out here last year. To be one of those artifacts, he's not the largest gator on the property. Our largest alligator is one they call Red October. Granny Sean Connery fan. Matter of fact, Sean Connery just passed away today. I heard that earlier. Yeah, it's sad to hear. I used to love those James Bond films. But Red October, the Gator tour after this or later today, this is where you'll be taking that at. And the last thing I'll show you is the white bridge out here on the left. Well, usually the white bridge. We had a tree fall and about a month ago which destroyed it, so they've been rebuilding it ever since. They got a lot of work done there, a little bit left to go though. They did put the replica out here at the corner to show you what it normally would look like. Alright, well, I am out of breath. I hope y'all enjoyed the tour. Now I'm going to stop here in front of the house first. And if you have a house tour next, or if you want to check out the gift shop, or walk into the gardens, or down to the boat dock, then feel free to get out here. If you don't want to get out here, then just stay on the tram with me, and we're only going to go up the road about 100 yards to where we started our tour.